My last upload, I wrote and posted a piece called Am I Man Enough? Not quite what I titled it, but yeah, if you heard it, you know what I'm talking about. It started with a conversation between my friend and I. A simple question, a painful one. What does it mean to be a man? But the more I sat with that question, the more I realized it wasn't really about men. It was about language, about the things we learn to say, the things we learn not to say, and the distance that grows between people when love is present, but understanding isn't. After I shared that piece, I found myself thinking about another question, one that lives on the other side of the conversation. Because if many men are taught to express love through providing, protecting, fixing, and enduring, what happens to the people who are trying to receive that love? What happens when someone is giving love the only way they know how, and the person receiving it is still left feeling alone? It's a strange thing to know someone loves you and still miss them. Not because they're gone, not because they're cruel, not because they've abandoned you, but because somehow, despite all the years between you, you still feel like you're standing on opposite sides of a piece of glass. Close enough to see each other, too far away to touch. I was thinking about this recently when a friend, we'll call Kira, shared something with me. At this point, most people will stop talking to me because I just use their lives for new content. Anyway, she had just gotten off the phone with her father. Nothing dramatic had happened. No argument, no bad news, no family crisis. Just one of those ordinary conversations millions of people have every day. They talked about work, the weather, life, the usual things. Then they hung up, and a few minutes later, she found herself sitting alone in her kitchen, trying to understand why she felt sad. Not devastated, not heartbroken, just sad. The kind of sadness that doesn't arrive with tears immediately. It arrives as a question, a feeling that something important was missing, even though everything seemed perfectly normal. And maybe that's what confused her most. She describes her father as a good man and genuinely kind man. The kind of father many people would be grateful to have. He worked hard, showed up, he sacrificed, sends funny memes about cats. He remembers birthdays, checks in, offers advice, tells her he's proud of her, and she believes him. She truly does. The problem isn't that she doubts his love. The problem is that she feels it mostly through evidence, through actions, through responsibilities, through things done, but very rarely through shared vulnerability. And that's a difficult thing to explain unless you've experienced it yourself. Because how do you complain about being loved? How do you explain that someone can be giving you exactly what they know how to give, and yet part of you still feels hungry? I think a lot of daughters understand this feeling. And if I'm honest, a lot of sons probably do too. You grow up seeing your father as a mountain, strong, reliable, steady. The person who always seems to know what to do. But eventually you become old enough to realize you know what your father does. But sometimes you don't know what he feels. You know how he solved problems, how hard he worked. You know the sacrifices he made. But you don't always know what kept him awake at night, what scared him, what broke his heart, what dreams he abandoned, what burdens he carried alone. And somewhere along the way, a distance forms. Not because love is absent, because honesty is. Not dishonesty, just absence. A missing language. I remember something Kira wrote. She said, "I don't need him to be my rock every time. I need him to be my mirror. Just once, to say, that sounds terrifying, instead of, he'll handle it. To admit he doesn't know, so I can feel less alone in not knowing." I think that's what many people are really asking for. Not perfection, solutions, or another speech about being strong. Just someone willing to sit beside the uncertainty instead of immediately trying to fix it. I think that's why adulthood feels so strange. When we're children, our parents seem larger than life. Then one day we realize they're just people. People carrying stories they never learned how to tell. People shaped by parents who often didn't know how to tell theirs either. Entire generations passing down love while struggling to pass down vulnerability. Passing down responsibility, sacrifice, and resilience. But sometimes forgetting to pass down the words. And perhaps that's where many relationships get stuck. Not in a lack of love, but in translation. One person is saying, "I worked hard for you." The other is hearing, "Why won't you talk to me?" One person is saying, "I would do anything for you." The other is hearing, "Why won't you let me know you?" Both people are speaking. Neither person feels heard. And the tragedy is that both are usually trying. I think that's why "I'm fine" has become one of the loneliest phrases in the modern world. Because most of the time, it isn't information. It's protection. Protection from judgment, from vulnerability, protection from the possibility that someone won't understand. So we stay on the surface. Weather, work, sports, entertainment, traffic, politics, anything except the things underneath, the things that actually matter, the things we're secretly hoping someone will ask about. Maybe that's why Kira became overwhelmed with emotion. Her father had not failed her. It wasn't because he didn't love her, but because she wanted something many of us want: to feel known, to feel like another person has looked beyond the performance and said, "I see you." Because when men are taught that strength means hiding uncertainty, the people who love them inherit that silence too. Children, partners, and friends inherit it. Everyone does. The silence doesn't stay contained. It echoes. Across generations, dinner tables, phone calls, and across entire relationships. People show love and affection differently. Most fathers and parents in general show that by providing stability, by being a fixed point, a lighthouse. But lighthouses don't get on the boat with you. They don't feel the spray or the rocking waves. They just shine steadily, reliably, from a safe distance. And you can't blame a lighthouse for being just that. Just like you can't be angry at a map for being drawn in a different century. So, I don't know if there's a perfect solution to the problem, but I think it starts the same way most healing starts. With someone deciding to tell the truth first, to go off script, someone deciding to risk being understood. Maybe the next conversation isn't about "How was your day?" Maybe it's about "What worried you today?" Maybe it's simply admitting, "I miss you," "I'm lonely," or "I don't know what I'm doing." Simple, terrifying, human words. It feels like throwing a pebble into a vast, quiet canyon and waiting for an echo that may never come. But sometimes, just the act of throwing it changes the shape of your own hand. And maybe that's enough. I think connection isn't built when people finally learn to say the perfect thing. Maybe it's built when someone is brave enough to stop pretending. Kira wanted her father to meet her somewhere beyond the weather reports and life updates, beyond the performance and the script. I think most of us do. We're all looking for that place where we can stop explaining our lives and start sharing them. And maybe that's what all of this has really been about from the beginning. Not masculinity or fathers, not daughters or even family. Just being human to each other, saying, "This is who I am," and hoping someone answers, "I know," and I'm here. So, wherever you are right now, driving, lying awake, or just sitting alone with your thoughts, I'm glad our paths crossed for a little while. Take care of your mind, guard your heart, and don't rush the questions that take a lifetime to answer. Until next time, peace be with you.